So Zane, great to see you here back at the Leinster training session. And how good was it just to see some of the boys in action?
Yes, probably welcome to Africa again. I mean, it's been due for the past 2 seasons, 2 years. Obviously, we've all found ourselves in a global pandemic, and I think it's just class to have you guys over here and then obviously to mingle. Probably at the moment, I'm probably only fitting into the management team because all the younger lads that pulled through, only a handful that I've actually shared the environment with. But just in general, to be back here and seeing the boys, yeah, that's quite class.
And what's it been like? Obviously, there's a few familiar faces around the place, but they're probably a bit older now than, as I said, when they came through. So the likes of Reese, Peter, Adam, and of course Leo out there as well.
Yeah, I think as for Leo, he's holding things together, and I mean, it just shows the great successes the guys had. Even, I mean, talking about the South African tour at the moment, from the performance last week, I just think it's evident what the environment is busy with at the very moment, with Leo at the rein, and of how well it's been controlled. Yeah, for Reese and those boys, they've been around for quite a bit, but I mean, those are the type of men that you do need on tours like this, when you probably haven't brought out full strength, and it just shows the strength and depth within the environment, and that's good to see.
And in terms of the changes you've seen around the place, around the squad, obviously younger lads coming in, have you been monitoring it from afar? What do you make of the new additions into the squad, some of the younger guys coming through?
Yeah, obviously some of the faces do look familiar. I think last week again, but Timaz, what the environment is about, as I said now, from a strength and depth perspective, and they came close. I mean, five points away from home with the type of team that you fielded. I think those lads they can take a lot of credit for it, and a lot of confidence into this next game against the Stormers.
And you mentioned the Stormers there, and just from your experience kind of watching rugby in the last couple of years, what can we expect from the Stormers tomorrow?
Yeah, I think from a Stormers perspective, they've obviously found their groove in the last couple of games. I think they're about prop 6-7 on the trot at the moment. So I think just from a confidence perspective, they're pretty much up there. From a challenge perspective, they do hold a couple of individuals that probably brings a lot of threats around the pitch on the day. But I think playing that smartly is going to be to Leinster's benefit. For them, they've come accustomed now to, obviously, to DHL Stadium. So tomorrow, in the day, I think different pitch, same size.
Can you tell us about just some of the stuff you've been up to, just to catch some of the Leinster fans up on what you've been doing?
Yeah, it's been good home. Obviously, I think nobody prepped from a global perspective for COVID that hit us. So obviously there was a frustrating 2 years downtime perspective. Obviously finding our feet nicely now, getting back into the groove. Like myself, being around now, obviously still involved with sport. Currently handling the backline range with my local union down home, and then obviously with my foundation with the younger lads. We've had now 3 games on the trot, 2 victories and 1 draw. So yeah, the David Goliath story is still continuing. So at the moment, I'm quite enjoying my time. Spending quite a bit of time with my little one. So I think at the moment for me, most important is probably the time invested that you've always had to travel, and having a bit of downtime now just to have that quality moments with your family.
Yeah, and you touched on it briefly there with your foundation, and you were saying before we started this interview that your voice is you're lucky you still have a voice after shouting from the sidelines yesterday.
Yeah, it was a bit cronky after yesterday because the lads had a game, so that was me up and down next to the field and roasting it. So yesterday was actually a draw, came through 12 all, and as I said, from a size perspective, that is what we currently encounter ourselves, and that's where this David and Goliath story is going to continue.
Yeah. Can you touch a bit more of what the foundation is and maybe how people that are watching this back home could get involved?
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, you currently working with a special group of young men that had a couple of trials and tribulations in their own lives, and I mean, knowing how good the game of rugby from a life experience perspective has been to me, it's everything that I'm trying to just carry over to the next generation. And I mean, rugby is something that I know, that I love. So I've done it for quite a while. So it's just me trying to carry over those fundamentals into their daily lives through the form of sport. Yeah, I'll probably can't really touch too much on the individuals and the type of kid, but it's hopefully being in this mentorship role, trying to impact their lives for the better, from whether that's an on-field decision making or how they will find and fend for themselves in their daily life.
And is there any way that people back home in Ireland, like back home for us in Ireland, could get involved, or is there websites? And
yeah, so that's still to come. We just want to get through this next 2 to 3 months, see how we build, and really trying to form a relationship with the boys, and not seeing it as a hit and run opportunity, but really trying to build something for long term and building their trust, because I think at the moment that's the most important thing.
yeah, amazing.
Yeah.